Lemo 2 full review. So I got this Lemo 2 sitting on this SX Mini M class, which I just cannot get enough of. But I got a regular standard build in here, standard Kanthal build, reading at 0.8 ohms, vapor at 27 watts. And I've got the adjustable airflow slots wide open on each side. First things first, flavor is killer, man. Something like the Sub-Tank Mini with an RTA section, I would say this thing's a little bit better. Something like the Delta 2 and with the RTA section, again, head to head, I would say still this thing's a little bit better, but hell, I think it's even better than the Lemo 1 and maybe even better than the Lemo Drop. And I think that's all due to the airflow because they've opened up the airflow. So while the flavor is definitely there, the vapor is good. It's not great. I mean, it's not as good as some of those sub-ohm tanks that I just mentioned. I mean, all these sub-ohm tanks that I've been reviewing, those things blow this out of the water as far as vapor production. It's just not as dense with this device. So like I mentioned in the sneak peek, the airflow wide open is about equivalent to the airflow in the Sub-Tank Mini wide open. I would say the Sub-Tank Mini may have it by a hair, but it's pretty darn close. I mean, to me, it's definitely a comfortable, restrictive lung hit. Wide open, that is. So now what I'm going to go ahead and do is dive down, show you this thing close up, go over all the specs, break it apart, show you each part broken down. We'll come back, I'll talk about the pros and the cons, and then we'll wrap the sucker up. So here's the box this Lemo 2 comes in. Slides out like so, and inside, there she is, the Lemo 2. And then underneath here, you got some extras. There's a user manual. Phillips head, flathead screwdriver, some extra O-rings, cotton, some Japanese cotton, and some Kanthal. So here's the Lemo 2 all disassembled. You got the Pyrex tank section, the base, the chamber, the shaft, the top cap, and the drip tip. Alrighty, so we're going to go ahead and start with this stainless steel drip tip. And as you can see at the bottom, it is double O-ringed. But at the top, the bore is 10 millimeters and it tapers down to about 6 millimeters at the bottom. So here's the top cap, and it's got Lemo 2 on there. Up top, it's bored out about 9 millimeters in diameter. There's your slot up top for filling. You got a padded O-ring in here. And how this works is, right now it's wide open. So you could fill this sucker up. You want to close it off, just to grab a hold of this top, twist it, it snaps into place. If it's closed off, turn it to the right, open her back up, close her off. That's how it works. So here's the chamber section, and here's the shaft section. And the diameter of the shaft section is about 7 millimeters. Here is the chamber section. Chamber section screws into the shaft section. And threads are about average. Nice clean threads though. And then you got the single O-ring up top. Okay, when you screw it into the top cap, it seals in the juice. And then you got the base slash deck section for this Lemo 2. Now you got Eleaf down here, but you got two large slots, one on one side and then one on the other. And this airflow is adjustable, which we'll go over in a second. But yeah, here's the deck section. It's pretty much the same, exact same as the Lemo and the Lemo Drop, okay? This thing has peak insulators, but you got these two channels, one on one side and then one on the other. And then this is the stock coil that comes with it. Now, mine came with the cotton through there. I took it out so you can see this much clearer. But yeah, it's got the cotton through there. It's got a coil already installed. The wicks sit on each side. Sit on this upper lip, upper deck. Juice feeds through those channels, up through the channels, to the wick, and then to the coil. And that's how it works. And just like the Lemo and the Lemo Drop, you got the two Phillips head screws, and you can either trap the leads underneath the screws, or you can pop those leads through those holes, as you guys can see. And then at the base, you got your 510 threads, and then you've got a stainless steel non-adjustable pin. And these two pieces are detachable, so the base unscrews from the deck just like so. Here's the bottom of the deck section. You got that pin, your positive pin. You got 4 holes. So you get your airflow through the base, through those holes, up to the wick and the coil. That's how the airflow works. Goes together like so. Here's the Pyrex tank section. Chamber slash shaft section screws onto the deck section. Tank goes over that. Top cap screws into the shaft section. Make sure it's nice and tight. Pop your drip tip in. And here's what I've noticed. This drip tip is just too snug. Look at that. It's breaking off the O-ring. Too snug. But all my other drip tips fit fine. The ones that I own. It's just the one that comes with it. Adjustable airflow time. All you do is just turn it to the right. Close her off, close her off, close her off, close her off. It's the same on both sides. You can close her off all the way. Open her up, turn it to the left. Same on both sides. Open her up wide open. And that's the adjustable airflow for you. A few more specs for you. This thing is primarily made of stainless steel. You got a Pyrex tank like I showed you. Holds 3.8 mils of e-liquid. And the key marketing point to this device is that you can fill this sucker from up top. Also, unlike the Lemo and the Lemo Drop, this thing is 22 millimeters in diameter. And she is 72 millimeters in height. Before I show you guys how to fill her up and all that good stuff, I want to go over some pros. First of all, love the juice capacity. 3.8 mils of e-liquid. The adjustable airflow, the ring is perfect. Perfect amount of restrictiveness. It's not going to spin. It's not going anywhere. I love it. I actually really like the airflow. It's right there with the Sub-Tank Mini. Another big pro in my opinion is this thing is 22 millimeters in diameter versus the Lemo and the Lemo Drop, which is 23 millimeters. I think that's great, especially if you want to use it on your mechanical mods, even your variable voltage, variable wattage devices. I think it just looks more complete at 22 versus 23. I really dig the wide shaft. I mean, the wide shaft to me is what gives you that great flavor, especially if you're using thicker VG-based juices. Hell, even thinner VG-based juices, this thing kicks some ass in flavor. For build quality, I give this thing a 7 out of 10. It's about average, okay? It feels very, very close to the Lemo and the Lemo Drop. Actually feels slightly better when it comes to quality. So before I show you how to fill this Lemo 2 up correctly, I'm going to show you how to fill her up incorrectly. You ready? So here's my other Lemo 2. Got my favorite drip tip in here. Like I said, every other drip tip that I've used fits way better than the stock drip tip. So what I've done is I've closed off the airflow at the bottom all the way, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open up this fill port at the top. Then what I'll do is I'll place my thumb and my index finger over both airflow slots. And then I'm just going to start filling. Now it's easy to do. I mean, it's super easy and it's super convenient, but it is leaky. I'm going to go ahead and close off this fill port. But watch this. It's going to start leaking down at the bottom. It's going to start leaking big time. I mean, it's pushing juice down up into the deck section where the wick and the coil is, going down that hole, down into the base, and it'll start leaking out of these air slots. Once I start to open them up, it's really going to start leaking. You see that? And it just continues to come out. Look at that. I mean, it's awful. Half a mil. I lose about a half a mil. I mean, it's already just leaking everywhere. You see all that? It's already leaking on the table. But what I'll do is I'll take a napkin or a paper towel and I'll pop it up upside down and leave it there for like 15-30 minutes. Let the juice leak out of the tip. Now the correct way to fill her up. First, I'm going to close off these air slots. Close them off all the way. Both sides. Next, I'm going to open up the fill slot up top. Alright, so the next step, you want to make sure that this tank is laying down parallel to the desk and that the fill slot is facing up. And then all we're going to do is fill her up. Okay, and then when you fill her up, you don't want to fill her up all the way to where she's full. You want to leave a little bit of an air pocket. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and close this fill port. So you got a little bit of an air pocket there. That's what you want. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is open up these air slots. And as you guys can see, there is zero leaking, baby. And you know what? There's no gurgle either. Hear that? No gurgle. So I'm going to go ahead and be honest with you guys. When I first uploaded this video, I totally made a dick fart move. Totally dick farted the whole situation as far as how to fill this sucker up. For the past 2 weeks, I've been filling this thing up the wrong way. I've been filling it up vertically. And I posted a video. The video was up for like, what, 15 minutes? And someone posted on there, they commented, and they were like, dude, did you read the instructions? So I went back to find the Lemo 2 box, found the instructions, started reading them, and I was like, son of a biscuit. I was freaking doing this the wrong way the whole time. The whole time I was filling her up vertically. Goodness gracious. Rip has a brain fart. You know, we all do it. We all have brain farts every now and again. So for that 15 minutes that video was up, Eleaf, if you're watching, I apologize. I'm in the wrong. You guys are in the right. This way, the right way to fill this sucker up. It's fine. Yeah, no leaking. No leaking whatsoever. No gurgling like I mentioned, okay? Really, the only major con I found for this device was there was machine oil, grease all over it. And I had 4 boxes. 4 boxes from Eleaf, and every single one of them had machine oil. It was just drenched in machine oil and grease. I can't stand that. I cannot stand that, okay? If Aspire, Kangertech, Horizon Tech, Joy Tech, they're squeaky clean, okay? If their stuff is squeaky clean, yours should be too, Eleaf. No excuse. Now on to the big question, the big answer of the day. If I'd have lost this thing today, would I go out tomorrow and buy one? And the answer is yes. And the reason, the price. Price point is good. It's very competitive, 35 to 40 bucks for an RTA. I like it. And also the fact that the flavor on this, whoo, the flavor, like I mentioned, great flavor, especially for your heavy VG-based juices. And another pro is when you fill this thing up the right way, there's no leaking, zero leaking. That's a good thing. It's also very, very, very convenient. This is Rip Trippers, and remember, smoking is dead, vaping is the future, and the future is now.